Hi there, and welcome to the ATS podcast with me, Will Brown, and John Soulsby, where we break down chunks of health and fitness information into bite sized pieces, remove a bunch of the noise, and just leave what's relevant. Today, we are on episode number 49, and we are talking about New Year's resolutions.
Yep.
How's your resolution
Um,
going, Soulsby?
um, I suppose pretty well. Mine was like less of a resolution and more of just like the. I think the reason that this is such a similar time. So my resolution is like I essentially gained too much weight in the back end of the year and need to drop it down again, which is like such a standard resolution for January. Is to like get back to training and eat better. Um, I think reason it's so popular is like December's quite a good time. I think I was like out 2 or 3 times most weekends, ate far too much, but had a blast. And now that it's January, kind of time to like sort my shit out effectively. But going really well. I think I've dropped 1.5 kilos already, which given we're 9 days into
Nice.
January, I'm pretty happy with. Yeah.
The It's fairly standard. I think it gets memed on quite a lot. Like a lot of people think it's a bit cliched or a bit like
So
fucking fitness is forever, bro, not just for Christmas. Like
yeah,
kind of shit. But it's honestly the kind of power of tradition is pretty.
pretty high. And yeah, it's more like it's not that it like I was like, yeah, January 1st, it's new year, new me. That's when I'm going to start. It was more just like, I'll have a blast in December, do whatever I want, eat whatever I want. And then after all the like partying and stuff's done of December, I'll get back on it. Because, I mean, everyone can appreciate not much happens in January. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
everyone's
a good time. It's a
everyone's
good time to start.
yeah.
Everyone's like cheesed out, apart from my wife, apparently. She's like, I'm not going to stop eating cheese for a few weeks to like like have less when we go away. And she's had cheese every day.
trying to deload cheese before the holiday, and it's
Yeah.
not worked. You need to periodize your cheese, guys. Like
Yeah.
you need like daily undulating cheese periodization is the optimum cheese loading strategy.
No
Um,
days off. Days off for the week.
yeah, who's gonna carry the logs and the cheese boards?
The wheels.
The wheels. Who's gonna carry the edam? I don't think David Goggins likes cheese.
Probably
The
not.
It's fun. He doesn't like anything fun. Um, yeah, I think the starting a New Year's thing is a very good idea. It's actually a lot more successful than people think. A reasonable amount of studies on New Year's resolutionary behaviors have actually turned up mostly positive. Like a lot of people actually do kind of stick to things like quitting smoking and stuff, which is great. Like it's
Yep.
a it's a kind of baked in traditional starting point for a lot of stuff, which is pretty good. The what am I doing? I'm learning British Sign Language, BSL, because at the later half of the year we had quite a few. Over the years we've had quite a few hard of hearing competitors in powerlifting, and a couple actually like full deaf people with hearing aids kind of showed up,
Nice.
and they got on fine. But I was just like, I was like, it would probably be kind of cool to see if like well number one it'd be super handy for me as an official and a reasonably like kind of prominent figure in the sport in Scotland anyway to have an extra kind of skill to comms with people, and also because I was talking to a guy from UK Deaf Sport on behalf of British powerlifting, and I didn't actually realize that UK Deaf Sport isn't like any kind of government funded thing. Like it doesn't actually have, it's not included in any other sporting body. They essentially they have to do it themselves because they're kind of like not disabled enough for like
Right.
Paralympic
Yeah.
stuff. Like
Yeah.
deaf isn't a classification in the Paralympics. And I was like, wow, that's pretty rough.
Yeah.
And for some stuff, like powerlifting, the accommodations we need to make are pretty minor. Like
Yeah.
you need to adjust how you give commands on bench, and then just making sure everything else is very clearly signposted, and you're not just announcing things over a microphone. Um, and that's kind of it. Like everything else is reasonably. I mean, if anything, it's a benefit because you don't have to listen to everyone else's crap chat and
Yeah.
the awful heavy metal music. If that's not your vibe, you can just vibe out by yourself. The But yeah, so it seems like a pretty interesting avenue to go down. It's kind of fun. Like you talk with your hands. It's pretty. It is essentially like a language entirely made up of charades. It's very odd. Like it seems like you would be taking the mic, but you're really not. It's
Yeah.
quite interesting. Um, Again, if anyone is particularly on the New Year's resolution train and wants some accountability for stuff, we are currently running an accountability group chat, which is essentially just a group chat with a bunch of our members where you can join in and you just post about what you're doing and everyone will just ask you how it's going. And the current trend is today's nonsense has been somebody posted someone's meal prepping and they posted these very delicious looking like bacon egg bite things that they've made like in a muffin tray. It's one of those where you do
Hmm.
like it looks like you do one egg plus some turkey bacon in like a muffin tray thing and you cook like a bajillion at a time and then you can have a bunch. I mean if it was me I'd be having
Yeah.
hot sauce all over that bitch. But
Hmm. Yeah.
one of those. And currently, this morning, after that, it's just mostly been egg puns. But apart from that, it's usually some accountability and a positive support for whatever people are up to.
Yeah.
And again, my usual contributions are either crap chat or me posting about how suggestive some sign language looks.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, so if you're keen on that, please get in touch with us. And if you listen to the podcast, if you're one of like I don't know the two people that listen to this, get in touch and we'll get you added to the group so you can keep yourself accountable and help keep others accountable for your New Year's stuff. Get some stuff going on.
Yeah. I think like the really easy thing about that group as well is like obviously if you're joining it,
Hmm.
you already have something you want to be held accountable for. So
Yep.
like you want someone to be like, "Oh, did you do that thing?" And by pure like social embarrassment of saying, "No, I didn't," you have done
Yeah, the kind of moderate
it.
social presser.
Yeah. Be like, well, I can't go tomorrow and say I haven't done it. So, no.
Oh yeah,
So
this
I think,
is
yeah,
this is one. The I just quickly fired in a wee search for some studies on New Year's resolutions. The one that it did brought up, which is actually a valid point that we could talk about, which is the what was how big was this study? Where is it? It was a lot of people, or is this a meta-analysis of many studies? Hmm. Members. Oh, like 1,000 people. Cool. Um. Following up after a year with the people, 55% of people considered themselves successful in sustaining their resolutions. But the main part of the study was the fact that people with approach-orientated goals were significantly more successful than those with avoidance-orientated goals. And how that kind of shakes out is approach goals are things you work towards rather than things you avoid. Seems pretty self-explanatory,
right.
but like,
So, as in, like, I'm not going to drink is less likely to like
like
be
avoiding, yeah,
successful.
avoiding the consumption of
Yeah.
alcohol, it flat out is less successful than I'm going to like I'm going to yeah avoid orientation.
Only drink on like 1 day a week or something like
Like yeah, I'm gonna. It's not so yeah, not even so much the frequency of that. It's just more the like the approachal of this is too early for me my brain to be working good.
that.
The yeah, the kind of positive the kind of positive habit like habitualness or like the positive like
Yeah.
association type stuff of like I'm actually going to think about like when I want to have a drink if I'm ever out, and I'm actually going to decide if I don't want to have one, I'm not going to have one, or like if I'm out, I'm not going to feel the pressure to drink. I'm like
Yeah.
gonna try. I'm gonna like not feel socially obligated to drink just because I'm out, rather than oh I'm quitting booze completely cold turkey.
Yeah.
Because what usually happens is that people do something like dry January, and then they'll go on the rip on February immediately. Like
Yes.
they'll do like a whole month no booze at all, and then absolutely go on a tear as soon as February hits and be back to normal for the rest of the year, which is whatever their relationship with alcohol is. Whereas a more approach orientated goal would be something like I'm going to address my relationship with alcohol and see if I can reduce the amount slash frequency with which I drink,
Yeah.
or the social pressure I feel to drink alcohol, or why I feel the need to drink alcohol in a social setting, or like whatever it
Yeah.
is. Like,
Do damp January.
yeah,
That's a new one. Yeah.
damp January. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not dry, but also not uh,
Not wet.
in vitro. Yeah.
It's damp. Slightly moist.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And then yeah, so if I mean most people will probably have already made their resolutions, but if you can even shift it to something based on like going and attaining something rather than just giving something up.
Yeah, you're more trying to construct something to work towards rather than something to
Yeah.
run away from. Is the general kind of understanding of approach versus avoidance. Like another, yeah, the classic one that I was trying to avoid using in that kind of first analogy is the like I'm going to instead of I'm not going to do something, smoke, drink, whatever it is, or like it's I'm going to make better choices around
Yeah.
the thing. So it's not so much that you're trying to avoid doing it, you're trying to like better your approach to the choices that lead you to the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty cool. And if anyone wants in the New Year's resolutionary group, hit us up. Tell us your thing. Tell us what you're up to, and we'll keep you accountable. And you'll probably get a bunch of Ming in chat. And
That's
we
guaranteed.
pretty much guaranteed. And we will see you next time.